Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another quarter scale statue review. Or technically speaking, maybe I should be saying re-review, because I reviewed this piece on the channel 2 years ago. But she left my collection, now she's back again. So I thought, you know what, why not give this another go? I was really happy with the visuals of that first video, but not the voiceover. I like to think that I've evolved as a creator since then, and now I've just got more to add to statue reviews. So I might be doing a few more of these. Let me know what you think about that idea down in the comments. Now, if you're looking to grab this Wonder Woman, I've got some in stock on my website, justinscollection.shop. I'm actually really excited about that. It's my first time stocking any kind of collectible on my site. I've popped a link to that website in the description, along with the discount code JUSTIN10 for 10% off your order. Make sure you check the product page for shipping estimates, because it's a sizable box. You're going to want to do that. If you're heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as a brand new statue review or re-review goes live on the channel. So the reason why I sold this, let's get that out of the way first. Not because I didn't love it. You see, back when I first started collecting statues, I was all about third scale. That was my jam. I got my Prime 1 Studio Wonder Woman and J&D Golden Armor Wonder Woman. That was it for me. I didn't have a need for a 4th scale Wonder Woman. But my wife gave birth to our first, and the statue room turned into a nursery. I no longer had space for 1/3 scale statues. I had to scale down, back to quarter scale. And that's what led me to pick this up again. Starting off with the display base first, it is so dynamic. A broken pillar that Wonder Woman is standing on top of, at an angle. It looks like she's just toppled it over, and now it's resting on like statue heads and other bits and pieces of rubble from broken buildings. It's all got this warm tone to it, and that contrasts beautifully against the cool wash they've used. There's a brown wash, a grey wash, some dry brushing to highlight the sculpted texture, and some airbrush shading. There's a lot to this base. It's not something that can be appreciated in video format, really. You have to see it in person. There's depth. There's layering at play. The way it uses shadows to accentuate the cracks in the sculpt work is genius. It's a base that's wider than it is deep, and that's something you'll have to factor in when you're trying to figure out if you can fit this in your display. You see that right there? The rocks on Wonder Woman's left leg? On her armor plating? That's some storytelling that is trying to hint that she's actively leaping off this pillar. Bits of rubble are flying upwards. It conveys motion. Another clever bit of sculpt work. In fact, the entire thing is pretty clever, in more ways than one. First, the pose. It's dynamic, we've already discussed that. But it means that the height of the statue isn't crazy. I was able to put this in front of my Queen Studios Nightmare Batman quarter scale, and it still looks good. She's only blocking a little bit of his base. Whereas if she was standing straight up and down, or in a semi-dynamic pose like traditional quarter scale and 3rd scale statues, that wouldn't have been possible. And the other way this is clever is, technically speaking, on the box, they bill this as, they've licensed it as, Comic Wonder Woman. But that armor and that head sculpt, that ain't Comic Wonder Woman. It could be, depending on how you look at it, but that is clearly Gal Gadot as the Princess of Themyscira. And that's why I had to have this all over again. I'm doing DCEU in quarter scale now, and I reckon this is the best Gal Wonder Woman in this scale. There's not many of them, granted, but this is dynamic, it's chock full of detail, and the likeness is really good. But there's more to it than that. She doesn't have to be movie Wonder Woman. More on that in just a second. This sculpt is how I display her. That's Gal. The flowing locks, they help sell the pose. The skin texture, paint applications, all solid. And that tiara is Snyderverse Wonder Woman accurate. But this is what I was referring to a second ago when I said she doesn't have to be movie Wonder Woman. This doesn't look anything like Gal, and that's the idea. This is comic book Wonder Woman. She's got the star on her tiara. There's way less detail on it. While the pose is the same, I think the hair is the same. The switch outs for the arms work in the exact same way. Still a great level of detail. The armor identical to Gal. The head sculpt is drastically different. The Wonder Woman logo is present on the harness for both this one and the movie switch out bust. You do get a stand so you can display this separately, and there's a Queen Studios logo on the back of it. I'm not sure if I'm going to end up displaying this bust or not, but it's a good way to get the best of both worlds out of this piece, and you can have this bust displayed with the sword and shield if you don't have them on the statue itself. It's an option. It's there if you want it. By no means do you have to display this. The sword and shield, both accurate to the first Wonder Woman movie. I like the sword more than I do the shield. It's quite clearly the God Killer. The blade, real die-cast metal. And it's slightly adjustable. You can't take it out of her hand, but you can rotate it depending on how you have the statue angled in your display. The shield is also pre-attached to the hand. You can't remove it. Not that you'd want to. The sculpt work is impeccable. The really crisp line work, the gold paint applications too, the black washes. These, I'll show you what they look like on the statue in just a second. But this is how I currently have her displayed. The lasso of truth. It's wired from the tip of it all the way down to the bottom. So you have to style it and pose it, essentially. Then the sword. I haven't popped the shield on yet for a very specific reason, which we're about to get to, but this is a pretty powerful pose. Fist up. I mean, she uses her bracelets to block bullets and stuff all the time, so this is totally displayable. Now, adding the shield on, the reason why I'm not a huge fan of this is because the shield, simply put, takes too much attention away from the head sculpt. It shrouds it in shadow, and that right there is the angle that you're seeing if you have the statue facing towards you with the logo on the base at the front of it. You're hiding everything. You can't even really see the head sculpt. So if I ever display her with the God Killer, it's going to be shieldless. Anyway, the comic book style bust, same torso, same switch outs for the braces. It's just the head sculpt and the tiara that are different. Not my vibe. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you prefer the Gal head sculpt, or are you leaning towards the comic book style one? Adding the lasso on, same pose with the lasso, and this was pretty fiddly to get installed correctly, but take your time with it. Check the reference pics on their website. The instructions do a decent enough job of telling you how to get this done, but they're by no means fully comprehensive. For a quick side-by-side comparison, quarter-scale Wonder Woman, quarter-scale Darkseid. He dwarfs Wonder Woman, and that makes the statue look absolutely microscopic. She's a sizable statue, but Darkseid is significantly larger. And this is what I was talking about earlier, messing with different heights in the display. You could foreseeably have the lowest point on Wonder Woman's base just in front of Darkseid's, and you wouldn't be blocking much, really. You'd block a little, but that is totally doable. That's another reason why I had to get this back. So at the end of this, I said it earlier, I believe this is the best quarter-scale Gal Wonder Woman statue. It's not like we're spoilt for choice in quarter scale for Wonder Woman, but still, Queen Studios, knowing that, they didn't skimp on detail, how dynamic she is, switch outs, or the cheeky little add-on of the Gal Gadot bust. Because this was always billed as comic book Wonder Woman. Somehow, they snuck that bust in, and they got it across the line. That means that this statue can work in your comic display or your movie one. That's where I'm popping mine, next to Queen Studios quarter scale Nightmare Batman and the rest of their Batfleck line. Now, if you're looking to grab this, well, you're in luck. I've tried to make it as easy as possible for you. I've popped a link to justinscollection.shop in the description at the time of filming this video. I've currently got some in stock. Don't forget the discount code JUSTIN10 for 10% off your order if you go ahead with the purchase. While you're down in the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.